Welcome to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. In today's video, I'm going to be diving into 7 in-demand jobs in 2024. And I think these jobs are just about perfect for many of you out there, many folks who are over 50. Now, you could be exploring a fresh opportunity, maybe considering a career shift, or you're just curious about what's trending. Well, these gigs offer not just employment, but I think a chance for you to thrive. So stay tuned to discover how your experience can seamlessly align with the current job market. Welcome back. Yes, today we are going to explore 7 in-demand jobs in 2024 for people who are over 50. Now, what I plan to do is describe each job. I'm going to tell you how much they pay, and then I'm going to tell you why I think they present a great opportunity. Now, if you're not familiar with me, I'm the current owner of the Side Hustle Rules and the Over 50 TV YouTube channels. I also owned a chain of business-to-business magazines, a weekly newspaper, a couple national trade show companies. I ran a weekly radio program, and I've launched almost a dozen other businesses. All of them, by the way, all of them from scratch. Now, if you're wondering, why I'm sharing this stuff with you, well, I'm telling you this because the insight and the tips that you're going to get on my channels, they're all firsthand, real-world stuff, and they're told to you from a guy who's employed hundreds of people and interviewed at least 10 times that many folks. So if you see value in getting tips from someone who's walked the walk, well, then subscribe to my channel. Now, if you want to earn extra cash, then subscribe or also subscribe to my Side Hustle Rules channel, where you'll discover the secrets to launching, to building, and also finding that perfect side hustle that is right for you. So now that that's out of the way, let's dive into our video. First up on my list of 7 in-demand jobs in 2024 for people over 50 is tutor. Now, the average national salary for a tutor is $51,896, and this is according to Indeed. Now, we all know what a tutor does, I'm assuming. But for those of you who want maybe a little bit clearer understanding, a tutor's primary job, though, is really just to elevate that student's academic performance. And I shouldn't say just elevate, because it's so important to help that student improve their grades. Now, a tutor can work with a student in a one-on-one session or maybe in a small group session. I personally think they'll make more or earn more revenue. The tutor will, by working in a group setting. But of course, I think the value for a student is more on a one-on-one session. Now, a tutor can work out of a classroom, they can work at a tutoring center, they can work out of a home, or they can work online. Now, some tutors will work for a school system, or they can work independently. Graphic designer. Now, I've mentioned graphic designer for a few reasons. Number one, the national average salary for a graphic designer is $58,725 a year, and that's nothing to sneeze at. Now, the primary duties of a graphic designer, I should say a good to great graphic designer, is to be the creative force behind shaping the visual identity of a product or a brand. Now, a graphic designer is going to use the latest software to create visually compelling designs that'll include anything from let's just say ebooks to brochures to thumbnails for like a YouTube channel to advertisements. Now, I've employed dozens of graphic designers at my publications and in my businesses. And I'll tell you this, the best ones were worth their weight in gold, and the best ones had a job for life if that's what they wanted. Now, this is a great gig for someone who's creative, and also for somebody who's willing, or should I say comfortable, staying on top of the latest design software. Virtual assistant. Now, this is one of those gigs that you can slide into relatively easy. If you've got some skills, you've got some years of experience, yeah, you can slide into this position as a virtual assistant. Now, the national average salary, according to Indeed, is $61,214 per year. Now, the primary duties of a virtual assistant is that they excel in delivering top-notch administrative support, and they do all of this remotely, which makes it a really nice gig if you're somebody, especially if you're somebody who wants to work out of your home. If you've got skills, if you've got experience, why not look at becoming a virtual assistant? Sales representative. National average salary for a sales rep is $72,838, and this is according to Indeed. Now, you may be wondering, am I talking about an inside rep or an outside rep? Well, specifically for this particular video, we're talking outside sales rep. So, a sales representative, what their job is, they're the driving force behind promoting a company's products and services to a specific audience. And a great sales rep, which I have employed many of them, by the way, they will excel in identifying an individual's needs. They'll excel in exceeding the sales quotas, and they're also great at giving a persuasive presentation. I've been around a few. I've always been impressed by the top 20%, because they're always doing a great job and always bringing in the money. Truck driver. Now, the national average salary for a truck driver in the U.S. is $1,909 per week, and this is according to Indeed. Now, the salary does depend, I want to make sure I point this out, on the type of driving that they do, their experience, and also, of course, the locations that they're driving to. Now, the primary duties of a truck driver, it's pretty obvious, but let me point out that they are responsible for transporting goods from one location to another. Their job could include unloading the vehicle, although I've worked with truck drivers who don't unload. They have the people, the dock hands, do the unloading, so sometimes they'll just stand around. They also are responsible for inspecting their vehicles for mechanical issues, and some of them I've seen will also perform preventive maintenance. Now, in addition to all of that, they plan their routes and meet the delivery schedule. Now, I said I've worked with some truck drivers. What I find is this particular business, and the reason that I put this job on the list, because truck drivers are in high demand. Medical transcriptionist. National average salary is $31,695. Now, I want to admit, I am not familiar with this particular gig on medical transcriptionist, but I do know two things. Number one, the salary, $31,695. That's nothing to sneeze at, but I also know that this position is in demand. Now, what does a medical transcriptionist do? Well, they listen to audio recordings made by physicians and healthcare professionals, and then what they do is they transcribe them into written reports. Now, what I do not know, and I want to make sure I point this out, I do not know how AI will affect this position. Last on my list of 7 in-demand jobs in 2024 for people over 50 is bookkeeper. Now, the national average salary for a bookkeeper in the U.S. is $43,857. Now, I want to point out the salary range for a bookkeeper. It's gonna vary, but it does fall between $39,000 and almost $49,000 a year. But the actual salary, yes, it is going to vary. It's like a lot of the other positions that we've talked about. It's going to depend on some other important factors like education, certification, maybe some additional skills that you have. It could also depend, and more often than not, it's going to depend on your experience or the number of years you have as a bookkeeper. Now, this position is on this list because it's one of those positions, one of those gigs that if you take some accounting courses, some bookkeeping courses at maybe a local community college, that can help you to get your foot in the door as a bookkeeper. And I think it's a great skill to have. Now, what are your primary duties? A bookkeeper is usually responsible for recording daily financial transactions, updating a general ledger, generate invoices, and maybe even run payroll. A bookkeeper gig, it's a great gig. You get this skill, and I think it's one of those skills that you can really have for life, because if you're good at it, you're always going to have a job. There you go, my friends. I've just told you about 7 in-demand jobs in 2024 for people over 50. Now, whether you're exploring a fresh opportunity, maybe you're considering a career shift, or you're just curious about what's trending, I think this list is a great starting point for you. Now, if you have any questions, go ahead, send me an email, make a comment in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Let me know. Also, let me know if you want me to continue shooting or producing these type of videos for you. If you got any questions, look forward to hearing them. As I always say, have a great day, everybody.